Alright, just giving the stream a minute to settle in here. Not sure if anyone's gonna see this, but welcome back, I guess, to the Friday Open Studio design sessions. Again, if you're new around here, I always say this at the beginning of each stream. If you're new around here, this is really intended to be kind of an open studio session, so feel free to be working on your own projects of any sort, really. It doesn't even have to be this hobby. Just treat it as a kind of creative, chill kind of afternoon atmosphere where you get to work on your own projects and things like that. Just keep it on in the background, or just click away if you're too bored to actually follow through with a 2-hour long stream. But it's a chill environment, and we're gonna try and work on something and try and design and build something new. So last week I think we finished off with the design here. This is an original design. This is the YX10 M1 Astra. So Astra M1, I just put it here. That's the kind of vertical surface here on the tail. Last time we finished up the entire aircraft. Basically, it should be all set at this point. We have covered every single surface with tape. Everything's pretty much just finished up. There's not much else to add. We even added this little cover for this. So underneath this panel piece, there's a nacelle that holds the landing gear, and there's a little cutout at the base of that structure. So I just decided to add a fairing over that. Just a little bit extra weight, but it kind of removes a little bit of a gap in eyesore. It doesn't look finished. But now it's even has my, I guess, channel name on it. But yeah, this aircraft is pretty much all set to go. It is pretty much like 100% done at this point. And so what I wanted to work on in this session, and I kind of started this in last week's live stream session, was designing and building some sort of stand for this aircraft. And we're still really early in that process where it's you might just think like, oh, it's a stand, you could just hang it from the ceiling using a piece of string or something like that. But I actually think it looks nice if it's kind of mounted to a structure that you can just put on a bookshelf or something like that. And we're just trying to design that stand, and we're just kind of coming up with creative ideas for potential future editions as well. I do have some interesting ideas with regard to that. We'll see if it's actually feasible when it comes to the prototyping stage, but I just want to work on kind of coming up with the idea, the concept, the design, and kind of just working on that. And again, this is like relatively a minor part of this project, and it can actually be applied to other desktop models like this, I guess, as well. It's just that, for now, I do want to try and spend some time to develop this within these couple of weeks, because actually in a couple of weeks, I will be moving out of my current location and into a new place, hopefully, if everything goes smoothly, fingers crossed. So during this transition period, I'm working on something that's not going to require so much, time put into it, so I can, focus, I guess, from week to week. But this is relatively minor, so I won't have to be as mentally taxed on a certain project. But yeah, welcome back. And I guess we're going to get started here with doing some concept sketches. And I know I started this off with paper last week, so let me just grab some of those sketches right now. Oh, I should be better prepared for this. It's been a long week. So normally I do like to draw on paper, but the thing with paper is that even though it feels nice to draw on and sketch on, I'm just gonna put our prototype to the side here. Not necessarily gonna build anything today, but we're just gonna come up with concepts, come up with designs. Paper is nice, but it doesn't really, it has some limitations, which is, you know, it sometimes looks a little messy, and I think that's kind of on me. At least in this current example. I'm just gonna raise the exposure a little bit here. Yeah, so, you know, last week we came up with some ideas, right? We looked at some older projects that I did, this ping pong ball launcher thing that I made in college. I don't know if I can pull up the picture for that again. Sorry about that. But it kind of looked something like this. It was like a frame shaped like this, and you know, you have your main catapult gun thing with a spring in the back that kind of launched a pin that hit the ball and it kind of shot out. It's a pretty elegant design. I'm not sure if I want to do this exactly for this new stand, but you know, it's kind of the idea that we had here was some sort of triangular truss that keeps it pretty rigid at the base. And this arm, you can adjust the kind of pitch angle accordingly using a kind of a 4-bar linkage, kind of, so you have like a stationary component and another component that moves up and down that you might be able to adjust using like a little handle or something. I'm not really sure what the concept was here, but that's also why I want to move to a different kind of platform to start idealize. No, that's not the word. That's not the word for it. It's a Friday afternoon. My brain is fried, but we're gonna try our best here. Come up with ideas on a different platform. There we go. All right, and that platform is gonna be my tablet device, which I have here. Nice thing about tablets and electronic drawing is that you also get to keep a good record of everything that you do. Just gonna put my sketch to the side here. This one need to stay caffeinated as well. Alright, so this is an app called Concept. It's on the iOS App Store if you're interested. It's free for just the very basic features, and that's really all we need in this project. Just need to be able to draw, and we probably won't be using many of the fancy features like layers and things like that. I'm just going to treat it as a sheet of paper, but it's digital. Nice thing is, by doing this, we can actually keep track of our concepts here. I think, yeah. Not sure how to save this thing or change the name. This is actually a completely new app for me. So let's change the name here. Let's change it to what? Okay, model, display, stand. This is like a desktop kind of display stand. Not sure. Well, we can rename it later if we want. So, because I was thinking we could potentially build different sizes for different kinds of projects, but here well, I guess it's just kind of assumed that, you know, it's a model display. Well, what size? I was going to say 172, but actually, okay, that, I don't know why I did that. There we go. Done. Enter that. All right, let's start drawing some stuff. So this is an infinite canvas. That's one of the defining features of this app, is that your canvas is a vector graphic interface, which means that you can infinitely zoom in, infinitely zoom out, which is really, really convenient. And it basically goes on forever. You can like move to a different area, keep on drawing. So everything, you know, you want to think about for this project, for this concept, is all in one drawing, basically. You can zoom to different parts of it to view different things, but they're all one document, which is really nice. This is something that Procreate, an app that I also have here. This one was what, $10? This app down here. It was like $10-15, not sure. It's relatively cheap for a piece of software that's really good. This is more for like one-off art pieces, and I have used it in the past to like come up with design sketches, but it's not really designed. The app is not really meant for ideation and concepts and things like that. I mean, you could, it just be like a single sheet of paper drawing thing. It's not infinite canvas. It is, if you zoom in close enough, it does become like kind of pixelated and things like that. But it's really good for like sketching organic things. They have a ton of brushes. I mean, there are brushes here too, but it's just with that app, it feels more like a confined kind of surface that you can draw on. But all that said, this is a new app to me. This is the first time I'm actually using it to create something, so you guys are kind of tagging along for the adventure. Yeah, let's get started here. So we have our, this is just a simple, I think it's a pen app. I think if you use two fingers and tap, it does undo whatever you just did. So that's going to be pretty useful because we make a lot of mistakes in our design process. I want to move this camera to be angled and a little bit closer to me, so I can move the iPad closer to me. This way I can actually draw comfortably. And yeah, let's get started here. If the phone focuses on my hand, I apologize, but hopefully you guys will be able to see this. Okay, yeah, so this is okay. I don't know how to zero out the zoom. Oh, actually, look. Wow, that's cool. Let's explore that later. But I want to zoom to like 100%. Is that possible? Like, I'm just watching the numbers change. I'm not how sure this works. I can't even talk. I'm not sure how this works. Let's see. 0 degrees, zoom, 110, 100. All right, there we go. Okay, so this is okay. Model display stand, concept design, and then we did see some options for some backgrounds. So we can have an isometric if we're drawing something 3D. This is really useful because if we do that, I'll show you right now. So what's nice about this is that you can draw a cube really nicely like this, right? And we just follow these lines. This is like a hexagon, so each of these angles are like 60 degrees. Okay, this line is not great for text, but you get the idea. This is 60 degrees. Oh, that was not good. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. That just opened up all the brushes, which I'm not used to. I'm used to Procreate, where double tapping on your pen, on your Apple Pencil here that I'm using, actually brings it back. By that I mean it undoes whatever you just did. So this is like pretty nice. It's like a nice 3D grid to use here. But we're not designing a cube, so we might not actually end up using this. Actually, like just dot because it gives me the most freedom. Okay, I gotta stop doing that. Is there a way to map this to like no, there is not. Let's see, stylus here. We'll tap to hold, finger action, double tap, show color wheel. We can double tap to, can we choose undo here? This is wild. Slice, hard mask, soft mask. Okay, yeah, previous tool would be nice, I guess. So if I choose eraser here, is that a thing? Oh wait, no. Erase. Nope, that's a marker. If you can't see, it's kind of pink right there. I'm just trying to figure this tool out, so bear with me here. This is... I got the idea of using this app from, what's his name? Stuff Made Here, that's the YouTube channel. I kind of forgot his name, but he makes really cool engineering YouTube videos. Highly recommend checking his channel out. Goal is to one day maybe get to his level, but we won't know for a while. It takes a lot of work to get there. Yeah, he has all these like expensive CNC machines too. I'm just like, wow, that's impressive. Alright, so we're gonna just erase. I'm not sure how to use the erase tool in this. Like, there's no dedicated erase thing. You just gotta like use back, undo to pencils, pastels, ink blots. That, yeah, this interface is much more fluid than Procreate, which is why I'm kind of struggling to navigate it a little bit. I'm expecting like, oof, sorry about that. Yeah, I thought that was an eraser, but I guess that's not. Actually, let's try that. So you draw something here, and then hard mask. Okay, so they call it hard mask, but it's basically an eraser. I had no idea, but this is nice. Okay, so, ooh, that is not good. Okay, so I'm gonna switch between 12 pen, which is this thin pen, and actually let's just switch to that eraser, right? Okay, so now we have our basic tools in place. Okay, all right. This is a lot of futzing around. I apologize, but like I'm just trying to get used to this and make something. All right, let's keep on designing here. Let's just start off with a sketch. So we have our aircraft. This is not a very good drawing. I have not drawn in such a long time. In college, when I took notes for a class, I would oftentimes draw and doodle, but nowadays it's not quite like that anymore. Okay, so that's our plane, that's our basic shape here. Let's see, actually, so a pen is really great for something that's highly visible, but if I do this, let's see here. If I draw with pencil, can you guys still see? Oh yeah, you guys can kind of see. It's just not as definitive of a line as the pen up there. But okay. Alright, we're just gonna go with the flow here. So this is kind of like a warm-up for me. I'm just kind of drawing up what we kind of have here. Oh, That's the other thing with Procreate. You can draw straight lines by holding it like that, but it doesn't look like you have that capability here. Honestly, if it weren't for the infinite canvas, I'd probably stick with Procreate, but Procreate does not have that. So, okay, yeah, I am really bad at drawing today. Might just be because it's a Friday, but who knows. Alright. So, we want to design something that will hold our aircraft in place. Definitely need a base here, and nice thing about this is that it might be mounted on my monitor. First of all, that's one of the design requirements, because that's kind of where I display my model right now. If I need a different shape later, that could be a thing too. My monitor right now, the side profile kind of looks something like this. It is kind of like that, but it also has a slope back here. Kind of meets down here, and then it connects to the stand via a Visa kind of connector. So I'm not really sure how to do this. This is like a curve, because the overall shape is kind of like if you place the object flat, you place the monitor flat on a table. Kind of looks like this. It looks like a truncated pyramid. I believe this shape is called a frustrum. You could check me on that. I don't really know the name, but this is like curved, in case you couldn't tell. I'm drawing a hard edge because it conveys shape really fast, but these are all curved edges here. So when it's upright, this slope here and this flat surface, that's kind of what I have to work with to mount the thing, for lack of a better word here. All right, let's see. Can I? Nope. Editing is a paid feature. Okay, well that's... I go back to that. I don't want to go to the App Store. Okay, there we go. We went back. Oh my god, this is so interesting, this app. But for a monitor mount, you have something that goes like that, right? It's approximately 3 across, and it kind of slants out like that. Could do something like how my webcam is mounted, which is it has a little bracket in the front that it mounts to. It's a funny looking webcam, but you know, it's kind of mounted there, and then the back actually goes like that first, and then there's a hinge, and then it kind of has a foot here that connects to the monitor. This is not like a screw-in connection. This is literally just, it's like resting on my monitor. Like the only thing that's holding this in place is this little lip here to prevent it from sliding back. Oh my god, go away. All right. And then this right here, this is like holding it from tilting all the way back. So basically it's preventing it from flipping backwards. It's kind of a sketchy design, but it works. It hasn't fallen off for one time. I can't speak today. I'm so sorry. Need more coffee. But this is kind of how my webcam looks like in the back. So I'm thinking maybe I can do something similar, but We'll see, we'll see. This is interesting. All right, let's raise the exposure a little bit. Whoa, that's overblown. All right. There we go. That should be a little bit better. All right, if you guys have like comments about how something looks, please feel free to leave them in the chat. The Stream Cam. Yes! Benjamin Rogers, first chat of today. Congratulations, you win. This is the Stream Cam. This is the Logitech Stream Cam, which is basically, it looks like this, right? It's a little funky looking thing with rounded corners here, rounded corners here. And then it kind of like tapers down, I want to say. So it kind of looks like that. It's also like this like the truncated trapezoid thing. And you know, you got yourself an ellipse here for the camera. Very interesting design with a little flash there or indicator that the camera is on. And this is like some sort of fabric texture. Yeah. Yep, that's my webcam that I'm using. And you know, I think there's a block that goes out the back, not sure. Something like that, and then there's a cable that goes like that, and then the bottom here is mounted to this thing that kind of looks like that. I'm drawing it a little bit out here, but you get the idea. It's like a little foot that kind of clamps like that. I'm just moving this over a little bit, and then it goes back hinge, draw that over a little bit. And then this hinge, oh, that's a bad hinge. You kind of get the idea here. It's kind of comes down like that. And then there's a flat piece that goes like this. Oh, pencil is starting to go fuzzy on me because I was at an angle. But you kind of get the idea, right? There's a flat board here. This is kind of what it looks like. It looks very weird, very weird. But that's kind of how it sits. So that's kind of the base inspiration that I have. I might not go with this totally just conceptualizing, taking things in before I spit things out, I guess. You can even twist it like that. That's the nice thing about electronic drawing. You can manipulate the canvas really nicely, really smoothly. Actually, this app, I would say, is a little bit more sensitive than Procreate in terms of shading and everything. Yeah, that's like really smooth. It's really, really nice. I'll just write webcam. Oh. I am not sponsored by Logitech, but this webcam is decent for Zoom calls. It's not great for video quality, so would not recommend. All right, so that's that. What else? Okay, so that's kind of the base inspiration here. I'm gonna try and no, this. All right, I'm gonna erase some of this stuff here, prevent it from being cluttered. The nice thing about Procreate is that you can like select things and drag them around really easily. I don't think you can do that here. I mean, you probably could, but you kind of saw what the error that I encountered, which was you can't edit. And I'm just like, what? That's such a basic feature. Like, it should be included. But yeah, okay, we can't edit, so we'll have to make do here. We like the infinite canvas, that's why we're using this app. I'll have to draw things a little bit more spaced out. Let's actually erase that. That's not very useful for our needs here. This is the monitor. So I could just label that. This is an LG monitor. This is I'm using the ultrafine, the 4K monitor. It was a little bit pricey, but highly worth it in my opinion, because I spend hours each day working with it. Okay, this sketch doesn't need to be perfect, but you get the idea here. LG monitor. Do a little bit of cross-hatching here to give it some texture. Doesn't have to be perfectly finished. But yeah, so back to our stand. For our stand, you know, we want some sort of thing. That wasn't really great. Okay, I'm gonna draw a line like that and bring it back here. This could rotate along some sort of pivot, I want to say. So you could have it be like that, you could have it be like that. Right. That way your aircraft can be displayed at different angles. I'm also thinking the base would be nice to be able to like spin it around. So I don't know how we're gonna achieve that mechanically, but I have a couple of ideas. Okay, yeah, this pencil is all right. There we go. So kind of want some sort of rotation along this axis here, and then a display stand. I have some plastic models from Koto Bukia. It's for the Ace Combat aircraft that I made a video for, but yeah, it's not the main purpose of the channel, but it has a really nice base design. I think it has this rotating pivot at the bottom here that's kind of centered in the footprint, right? So I might actually do that, include this spinning portion, but it has to be like really stiff because I don't want it to just spin around willy-nilly. So we'll see about that. Okay. So at least 2 degrees of freedom for display, right? So you can adjust its yaw basically and its pitch. For roll, that's going to be kind of troublesome, I want to say, because the way I want to mount this thing might make it a little bit difficult, but we'll see. But if we want to add the sorry about that. If we want to add the third degree of freedom, lost my train of thought there. Oh my god, I keep on. All right, anyways, we can basically somehow make it be able to twist along the rod that it's going to be mounted on, and then that would kind of act as a roll adjustment for display. But the way I want to mount it right now is a little bit interesting, right? So our plane, looking at it from the back, let's see here, click to the grid, okay, and then so right now it kind of looks like, okay, actually I have it right here, I could just display it, but I'd rather keep this in drawing diagram form. So it looks like that, and then remember there's 2 actuation rods in this design. It cuts it about right here. There's like a tiny gap in between the 2 surfaces where it's mounted. So it's kind of like that right now. And this bottom here is a popsicle stick. I want to stick a thin metal rod right in here, because I think that's basically the only place where I can stick it. That sounded a little strange, but trust me, it makes sense. This goes out. This is kind of where the wing joins, and then you got your boom. Aircraft structures are pretty interesting in this regard. Draw it from the back here. You got your wing with your flaps. Can I change this to... How do I change the size of this thing? Oh, there we go. So the inner ring changes the size and thickness. Okay, there we go. And then we can erase this. I thought so. That's like a very basic feature that should be included. There we go. And then, we have our vertical stabilizer mounted here. That's a little too much angle. It's more like that. Actually, even that's a little bit too much. There we go. Yeah. So I want to stick it in the back here, and then that's the canard. Just want to draw that in real quick to give you some context here. Right. Stick it in here. The reason why I want two separate wires going in is that 2 points determine a line, right? So you can imagine if I just stuck one in there, it would be able to kind of just flop around if it weren't balanced perfectly, right? It would be able to just wobble like that. But if you have two going in like that, it actually, this isn't just 2 points at this point. If you stick 2 rods in there, it's actually creating a surface which is locking the, right? So that's why I have 2 wires going in here. Oh my goodness, notification. All right, are we going now, or let's see. Okay, so it's still experiencing a little bit of an issue here. Okay, let's see. I'm not receiving enough video. That's so strange. It looks fine on my end. Ugh. God, technology, man, I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, if the stream is having issues, please let me know in the chat, because I don't know if it's having issues. So I think what happened there was my phone hotspot was being accessed for this stream, which is not great. It should be my Wi-Fi that's being connected, but I don't know why it keeps on doing that. Whenever I plug my phone in, it uses my phone's networking capability instead of the Wi-Fi, which is very strange. But that's a computer issue that I seem to have resolved. Again, I'm gonna have to pull up the settings here. Yeah, it's connected to Wi-Fi right now, but it was saying Ethernet earlier, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why it would be using that. So, can you guys hear me well? Can you guys see me well? Let me know. Okay, it says excellent connection. All right, so, all right. Technology can be really empowering and really frustrating. That is a fact of life in the 21st century. Anyways, yeah, sorry about that. We are back. Oh, God. All right. Just got to do that double check next time. It was connected to my Ethernet. Again, if you didn't hear me, because it seems like nobody can hear me. Nobody's responding in the chat. So I'm assuming nobody can hear me. I'm going to repeat myself if no one can hear me. But it was connected to my phone, because I've plugged my phone in to get the top-down view, but it seemed to have activated its Wi-Fi hotspot capability, which is very strange because my computer should be connected to the internet anyway through Wi-Fi. So I don't even know, man. It's kind of crazy to me. Yeah, technology is strange. All right, that's the rest of my coffee. This is my second coffee today, so we should be all set. We should be caffeinated as fuck. I just swore, but I don't really care because this isn't really meant for kids anyways. But let's get back to our sketch here. Yeah, again, if you guys can hear me, please respond, because I could be like completely silent right now and I wouldn't know. I need some feedback, you know. But if you don't want to give feedback, I guess that's fine too. It's just a little bit unnerving. I could be silent for this whole time and you guys could be missing out on information here. But yeah, this is kind of what we're going with. Yeah, okay, so it looks like the stream is keeping up pretty well. Alright, so this is the basic idea. You know, we want it to turn at the base. We want it to be adjustable. We want it to be able to roll, potentially. So kind of going with some ideas for that. I'll just move that off to the side here. We want to have something that can roll. So I'm not really sure how we're going to create this space, but we need at least 3 different things here. It's kind of forming kind of a base, right? So, oof, that's rough. All right, here, I'm just gonna move this over. Okay, something like that. So it forms, ooh, that was really bad. That's the one thing I do like about paper, is that it's a little bit more grippy. All right, there we go. So base is kind of something like that, but also not really sure if that will do the trick. This triangle is definitely going to be able to stand on that ledge on my monitor, but I'm not sure it's the best idea. But it's kind of doable, I guess. Need something at the top here that'll enable rotation of a pin. Right, so the only thing that I have right now in mind is some sort of piece like that. And it's like kind of sketch. I don't really know. Alright. So you could have like some sort of coil wrapped around that. Right, so that would act as a bearing of sorts. So if this coil was like somehow integrated into the base. That's kind of hard to make. That's the only trouble with that. Let's see here, what else? Right, oh yeah, we could actually just straight up, this is an interesting idea. So if we look closely, if we zoom in closely, we bundle 3 of these wires together, right? 16 gauge wire, bundle it tight together like that. It could come down like that, and then we could wrap wire around this. And so it's gotta bend out, right? Because it needs to form that base. Right, so it has to come out like that. Or something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. Alright, there we go. Eraser. This is kind of what I'm used to. Erase that side a little bit. Okay, so this goes to the base. But then here, at this neck location here, we could have a ring, kind of like a donut, but of course it's not an actual donut. And I'm going to erase that on the inside here. Do you guys kind of get what I'm going at? So that's kind of shading in one side here. And then this is actually some sort of open loop. Right, if we look at it from the top, it's going to look like that. That's the actual wire itself. And then it connects to a part of it that goes like that. And it goes straight up. So that's kind of the top view here. Just trying to think through this. Right, so it kind of looks like this. Go down, and then it kind of wraps around in a loop. Draw the contours here to convey that it is indeed a curved piece of material here. So you wrap this around something cylindrical, and then you bend the end upwards. So in our drawing here, actually, if we really wanted to, we could convey that, right, with a... You just cut this off the end here. Cut this off. And then this part just goes straight up like that. This part also goes straight up. I have to be careful not to eclipse that bottom part completely. Yeah. So I didn't draw that other part correctly, but now it should be all good. So this is going to come up here. Kind of goes like that. And then we could have it come back into the loop. Or, I mean, that would allow it to rotate for sure. But is there a way to like connect it to the top portion of this thing? That's the real question. Okay, let's just bring it up for sake of clarity. Right, and then let's say, okay, you got to bring it back in to center it over the entire structure. Would be nice to have that centered geometry, make it look a little cleaner. You could have it hang off too, I guess, but my gut intuition says having it like this across the center. That could work. That could work. You guys kind of get this idea, this design? Not sure. Not sure if you do, but it's a wild idea. If we can make this out of one part, that saves me a lot of cutting, and I absolutely hate cutting metal wire, especially steel wire. Aluminum wire is a little bit better. It's a little bit more ductile, but steel wire, once you cut it, that little sharp tip, right? Because if you look at it, when you cut a piece of wire, it becomes something like this. Instead of a clean cut like that, it's actually, whatchamacallit, it's like sharp. It ends up with a tip that has a cross section that looks like that, because you basically cut the material such that you pinch it apart, and so there's material that wants to, it's like, no bro, don't leave me, and then this guy is like, no, don't leave me, and then they both reach out, and then it's sharp. It's like a sharp, very sharp cusp. That's how I like to think about it. This is very dangerous. First of all, it's dangerous to you as a person, because I've actually gotten cut because of these little cusps before. It's not a fun time. It hurts like really badly. So if we can avoid this sort of a cut, that would be sublime. I'm just gonna shade this in a little bit more. Shade in. Singular part upwards, right, like that. So now the question is what the top is gonna look like. I don't know. But also, this triangular thing, how are we gonna connect it, right? We could connect two of these together. It sure as heck cannot do three. Well, we can make it a four-threaded structure, but then it would be like a actual trapezoid, or not trapezoid, actual pyramid, right? So it would come up to the middle like this. So you would have 1, 2, 3, 4. The only thing that's bad about 4 is that it's not a very good number. So yeah, in college, I took a material science class where you basically learn how metals are, together. That's like the most important part, because that is the most relevant part for us aerospace people. But the best method of packing circular objects together is not a square. This is highly inefficient, right? So if you do the math, if you have like 2 by 2 units like that, that's a square. So 2 by 2 is 4. But if you have a circle like that, if you pack it like this, right, you're using up how much of this area? Let's see. So you have 4 circles. Each one has a radius of 1/2. So pi 1/2 squared, which equals what? It's just pi over 4 times 4, which is just pi, right? So if you take the ratio of the square, or actually this is the all 4 circles, right? So you take ratio of the area of all 4 circles to the square, you end up with, it's like what, 3.141 over 4. So that's roughly, I'm just going to say very roughly, equal to about 75% of your area here that's actually being used. So it's a huge waste of space, not the best way to pack things together, right? But if we move to a 3 kind of arrangement here, equilateral triangle, right, with angles of 60 degrees on each inner face here, or each inner corner here. So the area of the, let's see, if this is unit 1, if this is just length of 1, or actually let's just say it's length of 2. So that means if you divide it in half, you're going to have 1 here, 2 here, because all 3 sides are equal. It's going to be 2 there. And then this side becomes root 3. Pretty sure. Root 3 is like, like 1 point something. Not sure what that noise is if you hear that. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's like 1 squared plus root 3 squared equals 2 squared. 4, 3, 1. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Yes, this is root 3. Okay, so the triangle's area is 1 times root 3 divided by 2, but there's 2 of them, so it's just root 3. The equilateral triangle. Oof. Area of triangle, and then area of each of these circles. Ooh, that's an interesting geometry problem. Let's see. How do you consider this? Is that a woodpecker sound? I'm not sure. So we know that this distance Okay, so this distance right here, this is actually interesting. I've never actually thought about this. It's a more efficient packing method, but to quantify it is an interesting problem. What's the relationship to the triangle here? We just need one relationship to the triangle. Let's see if that's 1/2. This would be 1, 2. But this is going to be slightly more than 2, right? One half, question mark. Okay, that's a lot of unknowns. It's been a while since I've done basic geometry, basic math, so I don't know. But you get the idea, right? Like this middle portion here is not as big as this middle portion here if you're using 4 of them. Let's see here. I'm actually curious now. How do you actually solve for this? If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Would be curious to do the actual calculation. But based on just heuristics alone, this is not very efficient. So what it means is that when you do the ring around this, right? When you make the ring that goes around this, oh, that was not a good drawing. It's going to wobble because this isn't packed the most efficient way possible. So there is a possibility for these 4 threads, I'm going to call them threads, but they're really wires, to shift around. Right, so you can imagine a potentially more stable geometry like this, where 3 of them do form kind of a triangle like that, and then the 4th one packs in on the side like that. This is probably more stable, because if you kind of like squeeze inwards, this 4 circle configuration becomes this configuration, which is why I'm hesitant to do a 4-threaded base, which again, I think the reason why we were considering that was for manufacturability and for simplicity, right? So if we have 3 of these threads, it's very stable, but you can only connect 2 of these parts. And how are you going to connect the other leg to the rest of the base? Right, that's the huge elephant in the room with 3 legs, is how do you connect all the legs together? Right, you can imagine a structure like this having a base that kind of stems out like that, but that's not how wire is manufactured, right? If you have something like this, yeah, by all means, right? If you have, legs like that, you could fold this one up like that, you could fold this one up like that, you could fold this one up like that, and you can make your pyramid structure thing. But unfortunately for us, we don't have that option. I'm just going to change it to that. It's easier to erase. We don't have that option. We only have a wire that's like that. It doesn't split off from itself, right? So if it's only like this, then you can only really create 2 of the legs, right? And then you know, well, actually, one side could go up here, right? And the other side could go up here, and then they both become that geometry that we want. That's actually not a great sketch. Let's see here. Triangle, triangle. Yeah, so imagine a point above the triangle. You can create kind of this structure like that. But then where's the third one gonna be from, right? It's like, okay, well then where's this one gonna go? I guess you could attach it here, but how are you gonna attach it? I don't have any welding equipment. This whole thing would be easier if I didn't have to work with just wires, but I only have wires at my disposal at the moment. If this design process goes beyond just wire, yeah, if it goes beyond just wire, then I might actually print something. Honestly, it's easier to 3D print something and then just call it a day, but people do that way too much. Don't like to think about how to make things the old-fashioned way. So I just want to do something different here. Still not sure about this. I am like really dumb when it comes to math and proofs. Yeah, the only question is what the relationship here. All right, I'm not gonna bog you guys down with math. I'm sure you're here to not look at math, but math is a huge like tool that you can use to justify your design decisions, right? And without it, it's kind of difficult. Like I had to explain this whole thing, but like if you actually do the math, you'll realize that this is much more compact and space efficient, which is why structures tend to want to settle down in that configuration, which is why we went with 3 here. But the problem with 3, like I detailed before, is that you can't really manufacture how to make this, right? How to make, I don't know. I don't have welding tools. I don't have anything like that. So we could, this is just an idea that I had, because I do want the base to be like a full closed triangle, right? It's better that way because then you can mount it on my monitor, which is, if you look at the, I guess, a top view here, kind of curves down like that. It's like a ledge. It's kind of like that. Oh, switch tools, come on. There we go. All right. Yeah, so it kind of looks like that. So if you have something that's like that, you can't really place it on this unless you, I guess, place it like that, where the monitor is like that. But I don't know. We're solving problems that needn't to be solved. Like, you could just say, don't put your display on your monitor, but then I'd be bored at work, nothing to stare at. I'm sure there are much better ways to do this, but given the materials that we have, this is the ideation route that I'm taking right now. In the future, when I do have 3D printing, when I have that set up, which is, it's gonna take a couple months to get there. First of all, I have to save up for a 3D printer, and then I have to set it up, which is actually quite the process, because I did get one for my dad like last year, and he's been like obsessed with that thing. He makes like all sorts of different crazy things. I could ask him to print something, but I want this to be like in-house design made. But yeah, this is a interesting problem to have, I suppose. So again, this has to be round, which is also a difficult thing to get right. Is if it's not round, then it just kind of falls apart. Right, if you make it a little bit too tight, a little bit too triangular, then this top portion will not be able to rotate. which I guess is okay. It's not a bad thing. If you want it to stick in place, then you make a perfect fit in the sense that, okay, well, now you have what, like no, shoot, all right, yeah, you have, like, imagine you have 3 circles like that. If you have a circle connected to, like, just imagine like a, you know, your donut wrapped around these 3 triangles, and it's like tangent here, okay, it's not, it's a poorly drawn circle, but bear with me, okay, like you could rotate this. It's doable. That's what we want, because this is a display stand. You want to be able to rotate your plane different, you know, angles, right? But it's like, okay, well, if it's a circle, then first of all, this can move around unless it's like a perfect fit. And I'm not sure about my metal bending abilities. It's kind of difficult to create like a perfect circle that's this small. First of all, this is like 16 gauge wire, which is incredibly stiff. I'm not sure if I can actually bend the wire in such a manner that's like so tight like that, right? This circle would actually be the same size as this, and then this would be, if I catted this out, you guys would be like, wow, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I'm choosing to draw right now. That's doable. So a circle would allow for movement. But if you, so like my train of thought kind of just like is not linear at all. It's all over the place. And I apologize if you guys can't follow that. Actually, instead of moving the iPad, I could move the canvas. Amazing. All right. Yeah, so if we have something like this, and instead we make a frame that goes like this, yeah, this is going to be extremely tight. Oof. The line went bad there. This is going to lock the rotation in place. Right? So this is a no-go. This is a yes. Right? That's how we can adjust our display for the aircraft stand thing. Interesting idea. Hard to make. Interesting idea, though. So I think if you have 4, you know what? That actually makes sense. Okay, so with all the problems that we we kind of just sketched down here. 4 is not stable. 3 is very stable. But, okay, so I don't want to do 6. 6 is a little too excessive. We could definitely do it, though. That's a huge waste of material, though, so I don't know. Another way to pack things would be to instead of having the rotation rod thing that holds the airplane, so this upper part here, right, up until this point right here, you know, instead of having this rotating part be on the outside, if we have it on the inside, then we could have our center circle here, and then, okay, so 3 will not do, right? If we only have one core piece that we're spinning around, 3 is not going to be stable because there's all this space to move around, right? But we could, however, do 4. Problem with this is that these 4 will have to be so thick to the point that, oh, there we go, to the point that they're almost touching each other. Right, they have to be touching each other here, 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 and here to form this square around this center piece. No, that's a little bit troublesome because I only have one gauge wire, one type of wire, 16 gauge. Sorry about that. That was my watch. And so this would require a different type of wire, and it has to be precisely calculated, you know, this diameter here, which I don't want to do. I'm like bad at math. It's like not a joke. I'm actually quite bad. Not sure how I'm an engineer, but anyways, this is probably a no-go. Very interesting idea, no-go. So if we had unlimited wire in the world, like if we wanted to build a very permanent stand, I guess we could explore the concept of a stand that has the hexagonal pattern. So instead of, you know, this is your center one. I draw a little plus sign here, stands for rotating. And then you pack it like this, right? Okay, so now all of them okay, I don't know why I'm drawing pluses on the other ones, but they're the same circle. And this can rotate freely. And triangle right here, triangle right here, triangle right here, triangle right here. It's amazing. It's hella stable. Like this is why like hexagons are the bestigons, right? Like if you watch CGP Grey on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. This is very stable. This is a very stable configuration. But the downside is it's very resource intensive. Right, so like we would have 6 wires. We have 7 basically, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One would be the core rotating structure, and the others would be forming the frame. I'm not sure about this. Not sure about this. Undo. All right. Not sure how the legs would look, but it would look very interesting. I'll say that. Could have it go. This is interesting. Never actually considered this. So if you have 6 legs, would the base look like a hexagon? Not sure. Not sure at all. So this would go to 1 leg. So we bend this in an L shape, bend this in an L shape as well. Oh, it's gonna look like some 6-sided swastika. I'm not gonna do that. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. If we have 6 of them, we could like create a little loop here, I guess. A little loop here. But then it becomes sort of a clover shape. Not sure how that would stand on a monitor like this. Yeah, it's an interesting problem. Okay, so if we keep the idea of using 3 of them. So we have one going in like that, one going in like that, one going in like that. Is there a way to like connect all of these together? So instead of one piece having 2 legs, if we give each of these their own thing and somehow connect to the other, right? So this would be 1, this would be 2. Oh god, this is so ugly. Wow. And this would be 3. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? I'm gonna clear out this space. See what I come up with here. So essentially what we're doing is taking 3 like this. It's a 120-degree angle split, right? That's 360 divided by 3 gives you 120. What I'm saying is, if you could connect this somehow, make it securely attached to this, would that work? And then this would somehow come here. So it's like kind of pushing on itself, because again, you have a kind of tetrahedron shape. You have a force being exerted by gravity, force of gravity here, which is the plane. It's going to want to push this down and out like that, right? It's just kind of what it does. But then what's keeping this from falling apart is the tension of this leg, this invisible leg here. This one is being pushed out here, but it's being pulled by that, and then this one is being pulled by that and that. Not sure that'll work. This is going to be some intricate metal work if I do end up making this. I don't want to make a whole science project out of this, but it's literally just a stand. I'm overcomplicating things. All right. Yeah, that could work. It's got to be an easier thing to do here. I think the only complexity that comes about for this thing is the fact that we need it to move. Yeah. The fact that it has to be able to move and turn, that's what makes this thing really difficult to design. Okay, so what if we didn't go with this design? I'm trying to think outside the box, right? Okay. Want a different frame. So the simplest, very, very simple, without moving parts, would be a part that looks like this. This is one continuous part. 2 wires coming up like that. And then your plane goes here. Represent the plane with a ball, but you get the idea. That'd be the very, very simplest thing to do. What if we could adjust everything here instead of on this base, right? This could be like binded together using rubber bands or a small slip of tape or metal, you could definitely bind that together. This would be one continuous piece, easy to make, relatively speaking. You don't have to cut pieces apart as much. But then if you adjust everything here, what would that look like, right? So you would have some sort of rotation along this axis, right? So this would be like what your pitch, and then you also need your yaw. Oof. There we go. All right, yeah. So you would need some sort of mechanism that would allow it to do that. Okay, my hands are moving everything. There we go. Much more clear. So this I could get, right? Like this, we could just do a little loop-de-loop here. Have a pin that could rotate in there. But then this, side to side, is going to be a troublesome area to explore. Yeah. Okay. Do we even need yaw? Will I ever use yaw? I'm not sure. It'd be nice to have. You could like rotate it in circles. See how your plane looks. Let me erase this. Actually, I'm gonna need that. I keep on forgetting it's a paid feature. Damn it. Alright. I might just have to buy the rest of this app. But it's like $80 for the whole thing. For every single tool. Which I guess we don't actually use, but I don't know. This is an interesting thing. I think all the display stands that I've seen so far have been static. Like, no one thing moving, like unless it's the Ace Combat ones, but those are made of plastic, which is kind of not that strong. It's kind of flimsy, breakable, which is why we kind of want to make it out of steel wire here. But I don't know, if we have like power tools, we could make something out of wood. It'd be a lot easier because we don't have to think about how to wrap geometries around other things. Yeah. Not really sure. What other materials do I have? I have cardboard. I don't want to use cardboard in a stand. That's like sketch. I think I've seen stands made out of paper before. Now those are also kind of flimsy. So if we want to make something out of metal, this is really the only option. Unless we want to use sheet metal, which I don't have any heavy duty machinery to work with to cut that into shape. That would be pretty simple actually. If, you just like have a piece that's cut into a triangle, right? Like if you have sheet metal, you could cut a piece of material that looks like this, and then you fold this up, there's another fold here, and then there's a hole, and then we'd be all set. We'd be done. It'd be so easy, right? Because this would fold up like this, right? You have your flat sheet like that, you have your flat surface up here. Done. D-U-N, done. But we don't have sheet metal, so can't do it. Okay, so I'm just trying to think of a good way to do this. Back to the wire idea here. Oops, sorry about that. If we have a frame like that, that kind of comes up like that, and then one that goes like this, but you know, same kind of shape. Let's reduce that down. But then this piece is actually one piece that goes up here. And then we have some sort of ring that binds all three together. We could bend this end in to form a perpendicular thing. Okay, something like that. I don't know, that seems kind of weird. I'd like a actual triangle base, because this, if you mount your monitor, like if you imagine something like that, if you mount this on your monitor like that, it's gonna fall off. Right, with a triangle, at least you get a little bit more support here and here. It's a little larger area here. If you don't have that, your footprint is essentially that triangle there. So I guess this is this is like a little quick physics lesson right here. If you have a footprint like that, if your CG is within this, it could be anywhere within this, you're not going to fall over. Right? Does that make sense? Because if your CG is outside of this footprint, what happens is, imagine like you have your base here, right? And then your thing is so heavy, the center of gravity is over here. It's gonna create a torque. If you look at this line right here, like from this side, this is the line. You have a force here. You have a surface here. If you pull down here, this thing is going to rotate and fall over. But if you stay within that footprint, you exert a force like that, it's going to exert a torque like that, but also there's a normal force that's reacting on the surface, right? You have your solid surface underneath also pushing back, which is why it doesn't fall over anymore. It's a very quick physics lesson right there. This is an interesting idea though. Like, I don't know if I'll use this, but the idea of a T instead of an actual triangle, that's a novel idea. The thing with this is, once you reach the top, you can make some sort of linear, or actually rotational bearing, kind of like the friction lock mechanism. And then you could have your aircraft rotate up on top. Right? Like you have your wings. You can rotate like that. That kind of makes sense. It makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you guys, but that would keep the entire base static, which is very nice for stability purposes. But the only problem with this is I don't know how we're gonna get the up-down pitch motion. I think the pitch motion is more important, because if you have a plane, you want to be able to adjust, like, you know, how up the nose is pointed. You know, if it's like that with a tail like that, versus like flat like that with a tail like that. I don't know. I think it just visually it's more impactful. So I think we should prioritize that motion, that degree of freedom. So it's going to be 3 degrees, or yeah, that was the plan, for it to be 3 degrees, right? So this would be yaw right here. This would be pitch, up down, actuation or movement, and then this would be roll. Roll is the least concerning for me. I don't really care about roll all that much. Mostly because I don't display it at an angle most of the time. Nice thing about this is also the idea of, if in the future, this is one of the larger grand scheme of things kind of moment idea. If I do end up making some sort of wind tunnel, I want to make some sort of display that can dock inside. So it'd be very simple to put in. And it has to be very strong as well. So it's like, how do we make something like that? That's why I've always gone with some sort of design like this, because this gets out of the way of the airflow and then connects back with the aircraft. That's kind of explains why we have that kind of a shape. But this would bypass all of that and give us a stand that's just no frills. Like, it's just straight up mount an aircraft like right there. This is not good in a wind tunnel because this creates a ton of curly air drag. Curly air, I call it curly air, but yeah, turbulent air, which is drag. It's extra energy induced into the airflow. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's see, if we design right around the monitor, we could have something that looks like this. But instead of being solid in the middle, these two sides, see that would have to be adjusted to account for the slanted back, but we're just gonna keep it like this for now. We could have it like this, come up like that. Oh. So it's going to be a 2-part thing. We could link it up here, I suppose, and then that would give it pitch authority. But if we give it pitch authority, that means if whatever we create, it's going to have to rotate around this axis, right? Alright, yeah, so it's going to rotate around this axis, but then also it has to, oh my god, I switched to my eraser again. And then it has to have something on top like this. That allows it to rotate in the other direction. That T-shaped thing is really hard to make in terms of wire. I wouldn't know how to do that. That's kind of beyond my level of skills. Actually, if we make like a coil, we could have it like come up like that, I suppose. And then coil again. That's so complicated. I don't know why I keep on overcomplicating things. I just want a simple thing. Alright, let's think. I think the only way to bypass all these problems is like if we have a custom designed mount or something. I don't have one of those. Still trying to think of interesting ideas that we might be able to pursue. Sheet metal. We don't have sheet metal, but that would be very nice if we did. Just bend it into shape and be done for the most part. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas, feel free to contribute, but I'm just playing around. This is not the most efficient design by any means. I'm just thinking initial concepts here. There we go. I don't know what to do. Yeah, again, this hexagonal patterning is very efficient, but the materials, though, oof. Alright, let's see. Yeah. Trying to think. Okay, so we do have popsicle sticks. That's the other thing that we could use. Popsicle sticks are nice because they're flat and they're pretty rigid. I'm not sure if one will fit in here. We can try. Just kidding. I think it's taped shut. If it's taped shut, then we really only have the wire option. Crap. Alright. Oh my goodness. I apologize for being so unprofessional, but I'm not an expert. I'm just a hobbyist, so whatever. Just throwing my plane on here for more visual interest. Trying to think, what's a good idea? If it weren't for the fact that it had to go on my monitor, this would be pretty easy. But it has to go on my monitor. That's the difficult part. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, but we're Jay chilling, thinking about ideas, making things happen. Whee! Interesting. Okay, so if we do this, 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 and then this, that actually creates a triangle. Wow. But more importantly, This allows for one piece to hold on and create something. Crap. I drew it too close to the other thing. Damn it. Alright. But this, actually, we could mirror this on the other side as well. Do we already have that idea? Kind of. Not exactly. This one is a little better, in my opinion, because it's not just one wire here, so it builds in some redundancy, but also the fact that you can adjust this gap distance, right? So this distance right here. Oh my god, that's horrible. Alright, you'll have to forgive me here. We'll have to draw this again a little bigger to get a better idea. Okay, so alright, we have an idea, we have an idea, we have an idea. Do this thing right here where you go like this. Oh, that's an eraser. Like this, this, and then it goes like this, down, over, up, across, all the way across. Then it goes down. Erase that. It goes like that. And it goes up, goes in. You can also do that. Come up like that. This distance is adjustable with this design. Right, so it's like, if we simplify this geometry down, basically it looks like this. It's like a box that wraps around like that. It kind of, you know those staples, like in your stapler? They kind of look like this, right? But we are attaching something to the top here that goes all the way like that and then goes up. This is actually doable. This is like reasonable. And nice thing is this can be adjusted to account for that slant in the back of my monitor, right? So the cross section would look like this, right? So we can make it adjusted to be like that. I don't know why I'm using 2 fingers. I could just use 1. All right, here we go. Okay, so if that's the case, then yeah, we have a nice stand here. And what we could do is wrap these around in little loops. That would give us pitch. And then if we have a piece like this, that would allow us to roll. Or yaw, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting idea. So I'm going to erase this a little bit and get it out of the way. Oh, shoot. Oh, how do we go forward? Forward. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we have the base idea here. So the base is done. Base goes up to here. Little curly thing goes like that. Also on the other side here. You can have something through here. that could rotate in pitch. Actually, we could even use the same design as our landing gear, which kind of has this wrap around. Alright, so that's kind of wrapped around like that. This goes through like that. This piece right here, it could either be yaw or roll, depending on how you mount the aircraft, right? Because if you make it straight up like that, then it's yaw, right? Straight up, right? But if you make it forward like that, then you can roll this way, right? Okay, so yeah, that's a interesting idea. But also, instead of doing this, we could feed this through. Instead of doing that, since this section is fixed, we could have it come to the other side. This is interesting because now, instead of a thing that looks like this, erase that, we have something that can allow for a linkage, potentially. I don't know. I'm just gonna put it as a triangle right now, but you could have a spring in here. Because your plane is going to be heavy, right? You need something to pull it back up. And then if we can adjust this up and down here, then we can adjust the, it doesn't even have to be a spring. It could be a solid rod for us to adjust things. Yeah, just adjust pitch. Yeah, looks decent. And yeah, so yaw is interesting. I don't know, because at this point, if we have a fixed frame like this, then yaw is going to be really challenging to make happen here. This joint is going to be so mechanically complex. Like it's just so unnecessary. It's going downwards here, working our way down. Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Okay. So we have the base design, I think. Maybe we don't need yaw and roll. Maybe those are just extra degrees of freedom. Do we even need that? That's the real question. I don't think I would be adjusting the yaw or roll that much, to be honest. Okay, actually yaw is questionable because I like to rotate 180 degrees, but it's like you could just take the thing, flop it around, and then put it back. I think the only problem with that is that the base geometry here, the walls, right, it's gonna have to be different. So if it's mounted like this one way, if you flip it over, it's gonna be like that, and then straight down like that. So it's not gonna work. So that would necessitate a yaw degree of freedom. But I don't know, it's just complicated for the mechanism to do that. Right, so it's like, okay, well, yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm gonna draw things a little bit bigger. Let's see how that does. So we have our arm here, a lot bigger. This is a lot more zoomed in. Okay, so we have our curly bits here. We have our pin that goes through. It's going to allow us to rotate in a way that this is quite confusing. I need to clear up some of these lines. Yeah. Gotta make it three-dimensional because people don't understand lines until they're 3D. That doesn't make any sense. Lines can't be 3D. But you know what I mean. Objects in 3D need to be displayed in 3D. Or sketched kind of in 3D. This is a horrible sketch. Wow, I apologize. This is like absolutely not understandable. Clear this sketch. Don't really need it. It kind of already served its purpose there. Yaw or roll? Don't know. Erase. Okay. This is actually horrible. Like my drawing teacher would be like, shame, Ben. Your parents spent so much money on you. And you can't even draw this. Alright, erase that. Erase that. Make this shape a little more lean. Okay, and then just shade in that side. Okay. You guys kind of get the idea there. It's kind of 3D now. Inside of the loop-de-loop. Hey, alright. So erase that. That makes it a lot more clean. A lot cleaner. I can use my words. I know how to speak. That looks weird. You kind of get the idea. It's like a candy cane wrapped around another candy cane. Right? And then this top part. Is like something. Actually, this whole thing just wraps around here. So this entire sketch has been a waste. All right, I'm done. There you go. Erase this. That, and then this guy goes down and over like that, and then down like that. A little bit of a shadow there. Shadow. Straight drop down. This could be extended here to convey the idea. But of course, in practice, it won't be that big. Actually, this doesn't look too off scale, to be honest. And this kind of curls up. Because you want your little thing right there. Okay. And then, okay, so the top part, okay, I don't know what's happening here. This is really sketchy. Dude, this sketch just doesn't make sense. Wow. Okay, there we go. And then bottom here. Yeah, I get it. It's like this shape. It goes like that. Actually, just kidding. It's... Can we color code this? Yes! Amazing. Alright, we're gonna color code this. Amazing. The power of color. Alright. So, this is one piece. Oh my god, that's horrible. This is one piece. This is also the base. So I'll color this the other piece. This is so messy, but I love it. Jesus. That looks horrible. But anyways, you get the idea. So these two go down like that, and then this middle white piece here, that's... I'm gonna shade the background a little bit so you guys can see better. This white piece right here, that's the piece that's gonna rotate and actually hold the plane. Amazing. I'm like my own cheerleader at this point. I'm just like, wow. Also, I'm kind of losing it because it's a Friday. I'm just like tired. Anyways, there we go. There we go. So really, this should have a gap here, but it doesn't. Easy. Amazing. So that's kind of what it looks like. And then, okay, so this can be actuated back and forth. We draw out a linkage, but I don't really want to. It doesn't really serve a purpose here. You kind of get the idea. If you move this end, that end is going to move and adjust pitch. I was also like, okay, if this can adjust pitch, then let's see. Oh my god, alright, we're over time. Alright, yeah, I'm just gonna finish up this thought and then call it a day. I didn't know like how long the stream was. Wow. Yeah, that thanks. Looks like the animated wallpaper on computers where it draws the line patterns. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it kind of looks like that. It's a good drawing. Thanks. I don't really think it's that great, but it conveys the idea, hopefully, which is that, oh god, alright, yeah, we forgot, like, an edge here, but it kind of curves down like that. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the compliment. I really don't think much of this, but, glad someone got something out of it. Yeah, so the yellow is the base frame right here. So if we change that to yellow, that's kind of these two right here. And then the black, or actually the white, is that centerpiece right there that moves up and down. I don't know what I'm going to do with this end yet. Also, this is like kind of sketch. Here we go. That's a little better. Looks a little bit more realistic. Okay. Yeah, this allows for pitch, right? So this is pitch axis. Pitch. Pitch. That's a horrible handwriting. Job. Okay, pitch, and then yaw would be something rotating along this axis. What I'm saying is that would be nice, but also if I like, I guess I could. So if I only display it either this way or this way, the plane, right? Tail here, surface, surface, wing, wing, and then, or I display it like this, tail, tail, wing, wing. That would do the trick. I'll just rotate it along this and then adjust the pitch for both sides, right? Both sides could move their noses up and down. That would solve my problem. Yeah, so I guess the next step would be I might do another stream tomorrow just so that, because next week I won't be able to stream. I think, yeah, it's next Friday is going to be the 23rd. I'm going to be busy, so I can't stream then. I'll do another stream this weekend, so we'll continue this in our next stream tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But the next step is to design the yaw mechanism. Yeah, I write like a doctor even though I'm not a doctor. This is horrible, but I can read it. So design yaw mechanism. This is for what? Nope, not 423. This is going to be for 417. All right. Yeah, so we have this. Just need to figure out how to get the plane to rotate like that so we could flip the direction. That's one of the things that I do like to do is rotate the model. So like I would display it like this, right? So I would display it like this, and then I want to spin it all the way around and then display it like that. Yeah, just get a fresh perspective, look at the back of the aircraft, you know. So that's kind of the goal with this yaw mechanism here. I do want to design the rest of that. Also, this linkage might be important. Yeah, this linkage might be pretty important because if we slide this, to adjust the pitch, it has to be very, very rigid and solid, or else the weight of the aircraft, actually for this design it might not be that big of a deal because the aircraft is resting on top of this, which means that this force gets exerted to the frame, which is stiff, which is okay. So for this, it's not too big of a deal. Okay, that's not bad. If it were like I have an arm like this and my pivot point is here, and there's a little, so my arm is like that, and then I have to adjust this. This is the actuation arm. Then it would have to be extremely stiff because this is quite a large moment arm. Right? If you pull down here, this is a lot of force being amplified, so this has to be very stiff. But what we have instead is we're literally just rotating here, and we want to move this piece right here up and down, which, you know, the force of gravity, the weight of the aircraft going down here is exerted basically already on the frame itself. So it's like, okay, we don't really need to consider that. It just has to be stable. Like, it has to be a friction fit to not allow any unwanted pitch movement and slip, right? Just got to make sure that doesn't happen. But we'll figure out the details. So design yaw mechanism and actuation of pitch. I guess consider. You need a verb there, you need a verb here. Design yaw mechanism and consider actuation of pitch. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. Thanks for sticking with me here. You know, I really appreciate your support, your continued support, even though, you know, you're just keeping it on in the background, just listening in, but it really does kind of provide a little bit more motivation than if I were just talking to myself. Even though this is like good documentation and motivation to work on stuff in the first place, it's just nice to have kind of a studio environment like this. Hope you guys are making some good progress on your own projects. Again, that's really the point of these sessions, is to kind of foster a creative environment. So I definitely appreciate all the support. Feel free to stop by tomorrow when I do my second stream this week to replace the next Friday's stream. And I'll talk to you then. If you have any questions, leave them in the chat if you're still watching, I guess. Or if you're watching at a later date, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or feel free to DM me. Any of these ideas work. I just, you know, like creating a kind of creative type environment here. So thanks for watching, and you know, stay safe, get vaccinated. I actually just got vaccinated the other day. My arm is sore, so like my entire body is like not at its peak condition right now. But yeah, take care, and I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Now comes the awkward silence part of the stream, where I just have to wait out the lag between when I stop and when the actual stream stops. So, see ya.